Right now at noon, could our first snow be arriving as we head into the weekend? We've got the latest on Future Track as well as possible totals coming up in the full forecast.
Plus, how DeForest residents are expressing concerns on plans for a new data center campus. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us on a Wednesday. I'm Josh Spreiter. We start with firstborn weather at this hour as our team is tracking rain chances before the possibility of some snow over the weekend. Let's get the very latest now with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Say it ain't snow, Blaze.
Say it ain't snow? Well, I'd be lying, and that is not something that you should do. Snow is in the forecast. Is it going to be a heavy snow? No. This is a clipper system. It's not going to be packing a lot of moisture with it, but it could be our first measurable snow of the season because we could see maybe a dusting or about an inch of snow by the time things wrap up going into Sunday. While the heaviest snow is likely, heaviest of snow is going to fall Sunday or Saturday night into Sunday, we could still be dealing with some scattered flurries as we go throughout Sunday afternoon before we finally say goodbye to that snow chance. In terms of snow total, so we're looking at our two long-range models because they go as far out as Saturday night, and we're looking at maybe an inch and a half. Josh and folks at home, the trends have been steadily decreasing over the last several model runs for both the GFS and our European model, which to me says that we're likely saying goodbye to that, half a foot of snow that they were maybe predicting towards the end of the last week and starting off this week. So that is some good news there. We'll get more into depth about this snow possibility in the full forecast, as well as touch on that chance for showers and maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two before this all moves in Thursday night into Friday.
November in Wisconsin, will we expect anything different?
Nope.
Thank you, Blaze. Right now, Madison police are asking for your help in finding a missing man. David Wells was last seen around 7 last night near the intersection of Gammon Road and Flower Lane. Authorities say he was walking to a nearby gas station to get cigarettes. They say he has seizures and is deaf. Wells was last wearing a black and white checkered beret, a white checkered sweatshirt, a navy blue long sleeve shirt, and blue sweatpants. He is 6 feet tall, 200 pounds with gray shoulder length hair. If you have any information on Wells' whereabouts, call 608-261-9694. Continuing coverage now on a controversial data center proposal across southern Wisconsin. DeForest residents are now expressing concerns as QTS considers plans for a new data center campus there. This proposal would annex farmland in the township of Vienna. At last night's board meeting, village leaders addressed questions on environmental impact, utility rates, and agriculture preservation. Currently, the data center is just an idea.
When controversial projects come to the village, there is quick reaction, right? And that's normal. I think people are concerned about what potentially could come. Unfortunately, sometimes governments don't move that fast.
Once this farmland is marred, it will never be farmed again.
I know what data centers are about. As a matter of fact, I like them a lot. They're very useful. However, they have no business being here.
QTS plans to submit zoning applications to the DeForest Village Board this month. Right now, the Rock County Sheriff's Office is investigating a crash that killed a 15-year-old and injured 3 others, including the 17-year-old driver. The crash happened late yesterday afternoon near South Emerald Grove and East Larson Roads. This is just north of Turtle Creek in Bradford. The driver lost control, leading to that deadly crash. We're told the driver was taken into custody and is now facing a negligent homicide charge. The Sheriff's Office says this is an active investigation. At least 9 people are dead and 2 people still unaccounted for after Tuesday's horrific crash of a UPS cargo plane in Louisville, Kentucky. Officials there say 3 crew members were on board. Dashcam video taken near several businesses shows the plane tilted on its left side, skidding across the ground and a fiery trail behind. The plane was full of about 38,000 gallons of fuel and smashed into at least 2 businesses, a waste management company and an auto parts store.
The question will be for the investigators, what type of maintenance was being done on that left engine beforehand, in the hours beforehand, what type of maintenance history there was.
UPS is the largest employer in the Louisville metro area with more than 20,000 workers. In a statement, the company says that it's working with state and local authorities on response efforts and halted package sorting operations there last night. A handful of key election day races brought big wins for the Democratic Party in California, Virginia, and New Jersey. And in New York, a closely watched mayoral race stunned the political establishment with a sharp move to the left. Here's Bradley Blackburn.
New York's race for mayor drew the largest turnout in more than 50 years and signals a generational change at City Hall.
This was a campaign ran on hope, and I think all of us felt it tonight.
34-year-old Zoran Mamdani beat career politician Andrew Cuomo with an ambitious promise to make New York City more affordable. The self-described Democratic socialist will be the city's first Muslim mayor.
In this moment of political darkness, New York will be the light.
Mamdani's win could fuel the ideological debate within the Democratic Party, which is celebrating some key victories in the first election day since President Trump's return to the White House.
Thank you very much.
California voted yes to Proposition 50. The measure redraws the state's congressional map to flip as many as 5 U.S. House seats from red to blue. The move counters Texas redistricting and could raise Governor Gavin Newsom's national profile.
We stood tall and we stood firm in response to Donald Trump's recklessness.
Democrats also won in New Jersey, where Congresswoman and Navy veteran Mikey Sherrill beat a Republican closely aligned with President Trump.
It's going to take a strong governor here in New Jersey to claw back resources and keep our streets safe.
And in Virginia, Democrat Abigail Spanberger will become the state's first female governor. At a White House breakfast, President Trump said the election was not good for Republicans and that the government shutdown was a big negative for the party. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Today, the Supreme Court will hear crucial oral arguments on the legality of President Trump's tariff policy under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. This year's tariffs set in 50% on India and Brazil and 145% on China have cost American businesses nearly $90 billion. The president promises reimbursement if the court rules against the tariffs. AI is evolving and becoming a bigger part of our everyday lives. Concerns about its impact on the job market are dominating headlines. A J.P. Morgan study shows the unemployment rate for college grads hit a 4-year high of 5.8% back in March. It's not just white-collar jobs at risk. AI threatens other sectors as well. We spoke with an expert at UW-Madison.
I mean, listen, it's a reality. So there will be jobs displaced by AI. Self-driving trucks launched in Texas 2 months ago. And there's a world where trucks are being driven by AI.
Tune in tonight at 10 for Surviving AI. News 3 Now's Jalen Banks brings us answers on AI's growth and its impact on the workforce. Coming up next on News 3 Now noon, what new survey results are showing about health insurance costs, plus why Chrysler is recalling thousands of Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees.
Chrysler is recalling more than 320,000 4xe model Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees because the plug-in hybrid SUV's high-voltage batteries could fail and potentially cause a fire while parked or moving. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is warning drivers to park impacted vehicles outside and away from structures and not to charge them until they get repaired. The company says a fix will be available soon. As millions of people are considering their health insurance options during the open enrollment period, a new survey from hiring firm Howdy.com shows Americans are concerned with rising costs. Out of 900 people surveyed, 43% say they're worried about affording coverage next year. 1 in 3 people said they've put off medical procedures this year due to cost. Some even said they take a 6.5% pay cut in exchange for universal health care. And popular e-commerce company Shein opened its first permanent store in Paris on Wednesday. But it comes amid an investigation and protests in France over the retailer's online sale of adult toys that appear childlike. Shein has since banned those items and suspended its adult products category. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Carissa Lawson.
Here's a look at the current stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow is up 315 points, NASDAQ up 241, and the S&P 500 also up this hour 53. Our call for action volunteers are in the building today taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call for action. Pam has today's farm numbers up next, and Blaze is tracking the first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, what new shows are coming to the Overture Center this month? Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee for the Midwest Farm Report. Hi, Pam.
Hey, Joshy. Yeah, beautiful day. A lot of things getting done out in farm country, including putting our bees to sleep. It's that time of the year when our Wisconsin honey producers are double-checking that everything looks fine, getting ready to put those bees to sleep, although they never really sleep. Tracy Malterer is the president of the Wisconsin Honey Producers Association. They're getting ready for their big convention up in Neenah. She tells me that the weather this year was a little on again, off again as far as honey production was concerned. Spring, we had too much rain. It washed the nectar out of the flowers. By the summer, we dried out and kind of cut down on some of the food sources, so things that honey producers will be talking about this weekend in Neenah. The American Honey Queen is in Wisconsin. Her name, Cheyenne Bastian Brown, and boy, she's been making the miles while she's in the state. She is from Pennsylvania. She's an agriculture education graduate, and what she'd like to do is make sure that she is sharing her passion for bees and for honey with young people, and she's been doing that all up and down the Fox Valley this week with in-class visits to any classroom, really, that will have her. Saturday, during the Wisconsin Honey Producers Annual Convention up in Appleton, they will hold a Kids and Bees Expo, giving any kid that wants to come in an opportunity to learn more about Wisconsin's honey industry, what it takes to be a beekeeper, what bees do to help us all out. That's Saturday at the Doubletree Hotel up in Neenah. And again, remember, it is open to the general public. Kids are welcome no matter their background because it's all free. And she has been a busy, busy gal. I look forward to catching up with those honey producers, hopefully coming up this weekend. Catching up with the Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection about an issue I brought to your attention earlier in October. Fee increases that were being proposed by DATCAP for our marketing system, our livestock marketing system. After hundreds of comments from producers, they have decided to review the process, take a look at those numbers that they had proposed as far as fee increases. I just got off the phone with Kurt Larson from the Equity Cooperative Sales Association. He said there's still going to be increases, but they're not going to be as substantial as they were originally proposed. Look for that updated proposal and public comment opportunities. I'll keep you posted. Boy, quiet as crickets in the dairy markets today. Barrel cheese, block cheese, both unchanged. Our AA butter, though, continues to decline, down another 2 3/4 cents, 147 1/4 per pound. Here's your little farm tidbit for today, Joshy. Wisconsin, I found out, toggles between the number 9 and the number 11 producer for honey in the United States. I'm afraid, given the erratic weather we had this year, we might slide a little lower on the gradient, but top spot, number 9, not bad to be in the top 10.
Farm Babe with all the buzz today. Sorry, I just had to, Farm Babe. Appreciate you. Have a good afternoon.
All right.
Time now for your certified most accurate forecast with First Warn meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze has got the latest buzz on some snow.
Some snow, yeah. So maybe it's a good time that the bees are going to bed, because I don't think that they will do well in the snow, to say the least. Although I think you can actually freeze a bee and it'll come back to life. But I don't think anybody at home should try that, because the bees are kind of endangered right now. We're looking at some breezy and sunny conditions today. We do get some rain in the forecast Thursday night into Friday. A thunderstorm or two can't be ruled out. We'll track that out in just a minute. But of course, as we started out here at noon, we're kind of focusing more on maybe our first round of snow for the winter season. It's hard to imagine snows in the forecast when we climb into the 50s later this afternoon underneath breezy conditions, but it is that time of year where we sometimes get these warmer days, we get a cool down. If there's moisture in the air and it's cold enough, it might fall as snow. Northwesterly winds still remaining breezy at this hour, anywhere between 10 to 15 miles per hour throughout the day. Wind speeds, gusts could be double that, anywhere between 25 to 35 miles per hour. They will eventually die down as the center of this high pressure system actually moves more overhead. That's going to be overnight into the start of Thursday. Noticing a lot more cloud cover as we go into Thursday. That's because we're getting ready for that chance for rain. Set to arrive later Thursday night into early Friday. I would say the best chance for that isolated thunderstorm closer to the state line and further into northern Chicago, northern Illinois, into the Chicagoland area. Can't rule out a shower or two here across mainly eastern parts of the forecast area. I would say especially east of Madison, we're going to have that better chance for showers Thursday night into early Friday, and then we could squeeze out an isolated shower throughout the day on Friday as that low moves on out. But then quickly following it, it's our one that could bring us some snow. Rain in the green, pink there's the mix, blue of course being that snow starting to move into parts of Minnesota around noon on Saturday. We get that mix overnight, and then that turns over to snow maybe Saturday night into Sunday. The green path is ultimately, give or take, what the weekend system is likely going to travel along. The yellow path is the ideal path that we snow lovers would want it to take to get more of that accumulating snow. It's closer to our neck of the woods. It can tap into still the open waters of Lake Michigan, turn that over to snow. But this is a little bit further south, at least with the latest data. And that's going to take more of the moisture with it. We're not out of the woods when it comes to maybe a light dusting to a little bit of snow, but more of that accumulating snow, especially further south, is looking more possible. So what are we talking in terms of possible totals right now? Well, our two longest models right now go out as far as Saturday night into Sunday, and both are keeping us at about 1 inch to maybe 2 inches or less. Previously, they had us getting upwards of 6 inches of snow, maybe even closer to that foot of snow when they were initially seeing this Sunday. We've cut that down to now about 1 inch, 2 inches at best. So again, things are continuing to still change. And that's why, as we continue to cover this in the coming days, and what we've been saying over the last couple of days is, things are going to change, so it's always important to make sure you're staying with News 3 Now to get your latest, most transparent, up-to-date forecast. What's going to change between now and Saturday night, Josh and folks at home? Maybe the path a little bit. That's going to ultimately change some of these totals. But in terms of, us bouncing back to a monster snowstorm, I don't see that in the forecast. I'm not super impressed by this. There's a lot of meteorological things that I don't have time to get into as we're wrapping up here, but this is probably going to be more of that light, fluffy snow. Maybe just a little dusting before we go into a quiet next week. Temperatures above freezing mean that a lot of that snow is going to melt even on Sunday, further into Monday.
We can save the big stuff for later this winter.
Much later, yeah.
Thanks, Blaze. Up next here at noon, Angie Horkin with Wisconsin Beef Council shares some quick and easy casserole recipes. That is when we come back. There she is. Angie Horkin with the Wisconsin Beef Council joins us for casserole season. You got two different ones for
Casserole
us.
season, but you're from Minnesota.
So it's hot dish. It just depends. Either or, it all tastes the same, right?
You just need the old 9x13 pan.
Throw it all in there?
Throw it all in. Okay, so yeah, I have two today.
Okay.
But this one's called the John Wayne casserole. Now, I wasn't very familiar with it, so I was kind of Googling it, finding it, but it seems very popular on the internet, but you start with a crust of biscuits. So you buy a tube of biscuits, and then you actually kind of flatten those out in the bottom of your casserole pan, and bake those about 10 to 12 minutes, then top with a taco mixture. So taco seasoning and ground beef. It actually calls for 2 pounds of ground beef. So this is very hearty. This will serve a lot of people. It says 10 servings.
I believe it.
Then on top of the ground beef taco mixture, I have sauteed red pepper and sauteed onions. And then there's a layer of tomato. It's kind of different, but you have to try it.
I will.
A layer of sliced fresh tomato, and then sour cream and mayo mixed together with a little raw onion in there. And then cheese, a lot of great shredded cheddar. It calls for some sliced jalapenos, so I did sprinkle a little bit of those in there. So yeah, a lot going on, but boy, it smells.
Oh, it smells
just
delicious.
Divine, and 10 servings, so this will feed a lot of people.
Perfect.
This will make 2 to 3 meals
We got
for
about
sure.
45 seconds.
Okay, this one. This is called our spicy Mexican beef bake. So you can take that one. Try that one while I'm doing this. So this is layered. So I've got corn tortillas. I've got ground beef and enchilada sauce. It calls for 3 cans of enchilada sauce, black beans in there, and then a little bit of celery, a little bit of onion, and a little bit of red pepper. And I kind of sauteed those at the end with the ground beef. And then some shredded cheese on top and in the layers. There's about 3 layers. So really a lot of staple ingredients. There's a little bit of cumin in there too. Nothing crazy, kind of everything you have in your pantry.
Simple.
And 1.5 pounds of ground beef. So spicy Mexican beef bake. They of course both bake in the oven. 375, 400 or something like that. This one takes an hour covered. Here's Blaze's
I was like,
plate.
Blaze is coming on over.
Okay, so, oops, sorry.
Beeftips.com.
Beeftips.com, click on As Seen on TV. I've got these hot dish recipes plus 3 or 4 more.
Awesome.
Oh, this will be
Thank you.
next week when it's cooler.
It's going to be perfect. Thanks for joining us today at noon. This will be up on channel3000.com.